Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Lakshmi Mataji. All glory Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaji's. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Raleigh.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Lakshmi Mataji. This is Kamala Dasi from Baltimore. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada, all glory to Guru Maharaj and all the devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kamala Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Arvind Das from Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Arvind Das Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining us today, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. Yashamati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashamati Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Lakshmi Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to God. This is Indulekha Karna Devi Dasi from
Hare Krishna, Indulekha Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Lakshmi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from Texas.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to all the assembled devotees. This is Sushmita from Canada.
Hare Krishna, Sushmita Mataji. Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Lakshmi Mataji. It's Krishna Smita Devi Dasi from Charlotte, North Carolina. My obeisances to all the humble devotees. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Do we have any more introductions before we start the class? Hare Krishna, welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call. We're extremely fortunate to have His Grace Radha Pramod Prabhuji here with us today. And Prabhuji would be enlightening us by discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 9 and verse 40. But before we dive into this nectarine class, I will request Vinita Gandharvika Mataji to share a brief introduction about His Grace Radha Pramod Prabhuji. So Hare Krishna, Vinita Mataji, Dharma Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Over to you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much. Today we are very fortunate to have Radha Pramod Prabhuji to give us the Srimad Bhagavatam class. Radha Pramod Prabhu came into Krishna consciousness in 2001 and he got initiated in 2006 by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. He had completed Bhakti Vedanta Vidyapita from BVRC and many services Prabhuji does. As few services are, he does preaching in the Hyderabad Center and also he trains youth and educate them. He also gives daily classes on Asta TV and other local channels, conducting online Bhagavatam sessions for many devotee groups around India. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for your valuable association today. Lakshmi Mataji, over to you.
Thank you, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, for that introduction about our today's speaker. Do we have Prabhuji on the call yet?
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Radha Pramod Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for giving us your valuable time and association this morning and enlightening us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. Without further ado, I would like to request you to please take over from here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I will share the screen for the shloka. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshti. I'm fortunate to have all of your association. This is the verse I was told to speak upon. I will try to just read the verse and share some thoughts in this on this verse, and for the pleasure of all the Vaishnavas and blessings of the Lord. I will just read the verse because it is not in a poetic form, it is a prose form. I will just read. Tribhuvanatmam Bhavana Trivikram Trinayana Triloka Manoharanubhava Tavaiva Vibhutyo Dityaja Dhanujadyas Chapi Tesham Upakarma Sangamo Yam Iti Swatam Mayaya Suranara Mrigamishrita Jalachara Kritibhir Yata Praradham Dandam Dandadhara Dandartha Eva Enam Api Bhagavan Jai Tavashratam Uta Yadi Manishye. I'll just read the word-to-word meanings. Tribhuvana Atma Bhavana, O Lord, you are the shelter of the three words because you are the super soul of the three words. Trivikrama, O Lord, who assumes the form of Vamana, your powers and opulence are distributed throughout the three words. Trinayana, O maintainer and seer of the three words. Triloka Manohara Anubhava, O you who are perceived as the most beautiful within the three words. Tava, of you, Eva, certainly. Vibhutya, the expansions of energy. Ditija, Dhanuja Adya, the demoniac sons of Diti and Daityas, another name of demons. Cha and Api, also the human beings. Tesham, of all of them. Upakarmya Samya, the time of enterprise. Ayam, this, iti thus. So Atma Maya, by your own energy, Sura, Nara, Mriga, Mishrita, Jalachara, Akritibhi, with different forms like those of demigods, human beings, animals, mixtures and aquatics, the incarnations, Vamana, Lord Ramachandra, Krishna, Varaha, Haigriva, Narsimha, Matsya and Kurma. Yata Aparadham, according to their offenses. Dandam, punishment. Dandadhara, o supreme chastiser. Dharatha, you awarded. Evam, thus, enam, this one. Vritrasur, apicha, Bhagavan, o supreme personality of Godhead. Jai, kill. Vatsram, the son of Tvashta. Vashtram, the son of Tvashta. Uta, indeed, Yadi Manyase, if you think it proper. Translation. O Lord, O personified three words, father of the three words, O strength of the three words in the form of Vamana incarnation, O three-eyed form of Narsingadev, O most beautiful person within the three words, everything and everyone, including human beings and even the Daityas, demons, and Danavas, in but an expansion of your energy, a supremely powerful one. You have always appeared in your form as various incarnations to punish the demons as soon as they become very powerful. You appear as Lord Vamanadev, Lord Rama, and Lord Krishna. You appear sometimes as an animal like boar, Lord Boar, sometimes a mixed incarnation like Lord Narsimhadev and Lord Haigriva, and sometimes an aquatic like Lord Fish and Lord Tortoise. Assume such various forms. You have always punished the demons and Danavas. We therefore pray that your lordships appear today as another incarnation, if you so desire, to kill the great demon Rudrasura. Purport. There are two kinds of devotees known as Sakama and Akama. Pure devotees are Akama, whereas devotees in the upper planetary systems, such as the demigods, are called Sakama because they still want to enjoy material opulence. Because of their pious activities, the Sakama devotees are prompted to the higher planetary system. But at heart, they still desire to lord it over material resources. The Sakama devotees are sometimes disturbed by the demons and Rakshasas, but the Lord is so kind that he always saves them by appearing as an incarnation. The Lord's incarnations are so powerful that Lord Vamanadev covered the entire universe with 2 steps and therefore had no place for his 3rd step. The Lord is called Trivikrama because he showed his strength by delivering the entire universe by merely 3 steps. The difference between Sakama and Akama devotees is that when Sakama devotees, like the demigods, fall into difficulty, approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead for relief. Whereas Akama devotees, even in the greatest danger, never disturb the Lord for material benefits. Even if a Akama devotee is suffering, he thinks this is due to his past impious activities and agreed to suffer the consequences. He never disturbs the Lord. Sakama devotees immediately pray to the Lord as soon as they are in difficulty, but they are regarded as pious because they consider themselves fully dependent on the mercy of Lord, as stated in Bhagavatam 10.14.8. Tattenukampa susamikshmano bunjanni evatmagatam vipakam vidvak apurvir vidadam namaste jive tayo mukti pade sadaya bhav. Even while suffering in the midst of difficulties, devotees simply offer their prayers and service more enthusiastically. In this way, they become firmly fixed in devotional service and eligible to return home back to Godhead. Without a doubt, Sakama devotees, of course, achieve from the Lord the results they desire from their prayers, but they do not immediately become fit to return to Godhead. It is to be noted herein that Lord Vishnu, in his various incarnations, is always the protector of his devotees. Srila Madhvacharya says, Vividam Bhava Prativat Sarva Vishnur Vibhutya. Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.28. All the other incarnations processed from Lord Vishnu. Hare Krishna. So I will try to share some thoughts on this. I will just share the screen of the notes. There are so many other points, so I thought it should not confuse. I'll just share some things which I few headings I put, but I'm going to speak on in this elaborately. So here I had, when I was preparing, I had 2-3 options. Should I take on prayers or should I take on the last word, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam? And then one more was on different incarnations. Then I thought I'll start with prayers. If time permits, then I will go for other topic. And then we'll see how, because it itself is a very big topic. And we will just start with this prayers. Now, this is a very important prayer. First thing is, in the prayer, what is important for us and what is expected. Both I will speak. Of course, there are many other subtopics. It's a big prayer has 3 sections. Samprapnatmika, Dainya Bodhika, and Lalasamai. I will not take that part. I'll just take a little bit of what is important. Prayer is uh, is uh, is realization of a person about his helplessness. That is the first thing. And then in the desperate situation to solve his existential problem, then he starts going for prayers. This is the first step of spiritual realization, the spiritual path. Now the step is surrender to God. It is very difficult, especially for modern people, because the spirit of being independent is from the beginning. From the school it is told you have to stand on your own leg, be independent. The education system also, we don't depend on teachers, we have to depend on ourselves to learn. We need not respect the teachers to get education. That means there is no question of prayer or any surrender. To get that is very difficult. That is the reason in the Western culture and all, now why Buddhism or Mayavad is very famous, because they have nothing, they're giving solutions, but only thing is they are not able to solve the problems which are generated at the level of ego. Now they are able to get rid of fear. This Buddhism or impersonalism, any process they practice, many meditation process, yoga process, many techniques are there which people are practicing. They are able to get rid of fear to some extent, but they cannot solve the problem of loneliness. This is not possible. That is only possible with the path of bhakti. Now, because the training is in such a way that people are told to be independent, they want to maintain their ego. There is no question of Sharanagati. When people who believe in God realize that the root of all problem is false ego, that means our identification with matter, then we'll be able to eliminate this false ego. And then we'll be able to get rid of all these attachments also. Now, what the Krishna is trying to help, or Shastras, they are trying to help is that when we go to Krishna and ask for help, first thing he does is he tries to break our false ego. We'll see what Krishna does to break the false ego, because we have erected our false ego, and Krishna with a battering ram he has a big thing, he starts destroying it. Now we have become the prisoner of our ego, and I myself cannot break it. We cannot break our false ego. We have to ask Krishna to come and destroy our false ego. We are in the fortress of our false ego, and in a very miserable situation. We are condemned to loneliness. There is fear. Everything is there in this material world, and I try to find happiness in my independence, but unfortunately, we found nothing here. There is boredom. There is suffering, and whatnot. Now, this process is now when we say here Sharanagati. Now, Sharanagati is not actually bhakti. What Jiva Goswami says. Now, other practice cannot do it. Now, Sharanagati it comes. Sharanagati is prayers. Now, Sharanagati itself is not bhakti. What Jiva Goswami says is it's a preliminary qualification to begin bhakti. That means you start surrendering. It's a door from the prison of our material ego. Now I surrender. I want to get rid of this ego. Now, and to reach the realm of love and freedom. When Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, Apuryamana Machalam Pratishtam Samudramapi Pravishanti Sarve. And he's telling that so many desires are flowing, into the ocean, but the ocean is still. And then Krishna is telling that Prabhupada writes, and he says, if you want to control, you want to reach the Sthita Prajna state, you have to follow the regulative principles of freedom. Now, regulation is not freedom. Regulation is restriction. Say now, if I ask a question, where you feel more freedom? In office or at home? In school or at home? Everybody says at home I am very free. Why? No rules and regulations. Now, when here, then what is, when you are following regulations of freedom, following regulations, how it is freedom? I am surrendering to somebody. Where is question of freedom? Sharanagati means you have to surrender to somebody. Where is question of freedom then? I had to follow whatever he says. I had to follow whatever boss says. I had to follow whatever the teacher says. Where is the question of freedom? This is very important. This freedom is internal freedom. Externally you may be following, but internally you are freed. Free from what? Free from that false ego. That is what we all want. We want to get rid of this false ego. We want to get rid of it. We want to be free. And there is no other door through which we can enter into this realm other than this Sharanagati. Now, the trouble is that we are not able to go through that door because what prevents us from doing Sharanagati? False ego. Now we may say, it is logical fallacy. You are telling Sharanagati is the way to get rid of false ego, and you are telling false ego is only stopping you from doing Sharanagati. So to get rid, you need to Sharanagati. But Sharanagati, you cannot have false ego. So how can you come out of this cycle? Sharanagati, false ego is stopping. And to achieve this, you have to, by Sharanagati, you will get rid of it. Now here comes what Krishna is trying to do. Kunti Maharani also says that somebody who is very proud, he cannot do it. So the solution is we have to be humble. That is the solution. Now, if you see the temples in South India, the entrance is very low. You have to go down and go. That means you have to be humble. The proud man is not allowed. You can say that no, a camel, by faith you can enter into the needle hole. But a proud man cannot enter into the kingdom of God because there is no Sharanagati. So that we want to, that helplessness, when we feel our helplessness, and to that is what is help us to come out of the system. Our bondage is our false ego. We need to get rid of it. Now there is, now when we see the Sharanagati, first canto is one after another, one after another, one after all the stories of Sharanagati. And it starts, of course, we will not take about, if you see Arjuna, as soon as he see Brahmastra, surrenders to Krishna. Says, Krishna, what should I do now? Krishna says, okay, this is Brahmastra, you release Brahmastra. And he circumambulates Krishna and then releases. Then Uttara comes, Pahi Pahi Maha Yogin Deva Deva Jagatpate. He says, no, I am surrendering. Krishna says, okay. And then Kunti Maharani says, okay, Krishna, no other refuge than you. Then Bhishma Dev, he says on deathbed, he is surrendering to Krishna. And then Draupadi also, Draupadi and all the Pandavas. Of course, Arjuna also comes and says, okay, I surrendered and I lost everything. Pandavas and Draupadi, when they heard that Krishna is left, they also go surrendering to Krishna. And then Parikshit Maharaj, he leaves everything and surrenders. So if you see the first end of Bhagavatam, one after another, everybody surrendering only. That is how. Now here, the question here is the prayers which we are hearing from Bhagavatam is now how it will be here they're offering prayers, and Prabhupada is telling Sakama and Akama. Now Sakama devotees, they are also offering prayers, and devotees are also. What is the difference? We need to offer prayers, but what is the difference between these two types of prayers? We'll try to understand. The difference is purity of heart. Now, if we want to develop taste for hearing Bhagavatam and reading Bhagavatam, otherwise it will remain in the shelves without opening the seal also. The prerequisite is taste for it. And the taste cannot come when the heart is not pure. Therefore, the most important thing is we have to try to work on purifying our heart. Now there is a, how it will work, we'll see. Now Krishna is telling the important point here is that we need to, how the prayers come, and then we'll go for further topics. Now Now, one of the point is that this type of surrender comes in proper association with Krishna and his devotees. We can always remember that we are servants and he is our master. Now, there is a difference. Now, when we see, this is a very important point, right, to understand. Like when Krishna showed his universal form to Arjuna and Duryodhana, both of them saw. Before Arjuna, Duryodhana saw the universal form of Krishna. Dhritarashtra also saw. Gave him wise that time. First time, whatever Dhritarashtra saw is universal form. Now, what happened? Based on the purity of heart, there is a difference. Now, in all circumstances, Arjuna, Bhima, Bhishma, everybody considers themselves as servants of Krishna and he is his worshipable Lord. Even Bhishmacharya, when he's fighting against Pandavas, he always remembered that I am servant of Krishna and he was wishing victory for the Pandavas and his devotees. But there are some cases like Ghatotkacha, even though he's fighting on behalf of Pandavas, he was feeling himself independent. Now there is the important thing is when Pandavas went through some very terrible situations. So many unhappy situations they went. But in grief and resentment also, it did not prevent them from remembering Krishna. That's what this shloka, the purport proposes. No? Tattenu kampam susamikshmano bunjan evatma kritam vipapam. So it is, they are just thinking, oh, it's all just because of my own misdeeds. They did not prevent them from remembering Krishna with gratitude. So, and Duryodhana and Ashwathama, they are blinded with pride. So, in the hope of defeat, defeating Krishna and his devotees, they caused their own defeats. That is the problem. Now, when they saw the universal form, they only developed hatred and fear. Whereas Pandavas, Arjuna saw, he became very reverential. That we will see. Now here there is a choice between humility and pride, between gratitude and anger. So for the Pandavas, it is humility, and whereas for humility and gratitude, whereas Duryodhana and team, it is pride and anger. So this is what is different. So only one point till now I made is for prayers, the obstacle is false ego, and to get out of this we need humility. And we saw the example of Pandavas. Because their purity of heart, they are able to offer prayers. Whereas Duryodhana and team, they could not make it. That is the point. So that is the qualification for offering prayers. And Sharanagati is the first step. It's a door to go into devotion. Now Mahabharata and Bhagavatam, they are trying to help us to make the right choice. And now here Prabhupada is telling that pure devotees don't ask anything, right? Now we'll start with the example of first part of like Uttara coming to Krishna. Now is she pure devotee or not? And what is her prayer? And why did Krishna respond to her prayer? We'll see. Now when Uttara comes to Krishna, and Ashwathama religious Brahmastra, Uttara is coming with prayers. Now is she the pure devotee? Now Uttara is saying, Pahi Pahi Mahayogin, Deva Deva Jagatpate, Nanyam Tat Abhayam Pashet, Yatra Mrityu Prasparam. She says, O Lord of gods, Lord of the universe, you are the greatest of mystics. I see they protect me from this world of duality. None but they can snatch me from the claws of death. This is what she prays. Now there is a conversation by our acharyas between Uttara and Krishna that is going on. So now Uttara is in fear and she is praying and repeated 2 times, Pahi Pahi, save me, save me. Now Krishna says, how can I save you? A deadly arrow has already been fired. It must hit the target. Uttara says, no, 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 no. You can save me because you are greatest mystic, Mahayogi. Krishna says, there are many great yogis in this world. Lord Shiva is the greatest of yogi. Even Brahma is yogi. And this astra is of Brahma only. No, why don't you go for him to help? Then Uttara says, no. You are Deva Deva. All the demigods, including Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, worship you, turn to you for protection. They will all hear from you. Then Krishna may say, okay, if you doubt these demigods will not hear you, then why don't you go to Yudhishthir Maharaj? See, he is the protector and he is the king now. He's supposed to protect. It is the duty of king to protect his citizens, his subjects. So why don't you go to him? He will protect you. Then she says, Are the commanders come some whatever Yudhishthir, he is commanding some miserable kingdom in this earth. You are the commander, you are commanding the whole universe. You are Jagatpate. So better I go to you. Who can give me better protection than you? Then Krishna says, okay, then better go to Arjuna. He's your father-in-law. Just recently he protected the whole world from Brahmastra of Ashwatthama only. He's the greatest warrior, a great yogi also. And even the great demigods take shelter of him for protection. And he defeated even Lord Shiva himself in battlefield. Why don't you go to Arjuna? Then Uttara says, how can I be protected by one who is not free from fear himself? Everyone in this world is afraid of death and motivated by fear and envy. They do nothing but kill each other. And also, it is said, this is Yatra Mrityu Parasparam. This is the shloka we know. And Arjuna could not even protect his son. My husband is not protected by him. So what he can do? See, I see nobody other than you who can protect. Then we say that, then she says, okay, but how can I save your child? He is already in your womb. The radiation of Brahmastra is already burnt, and the baby's tender body is already on the ground, and you yourself can feel his death. Then in the next shloka, Uttara says, no, you are Vibhu, omnipresent. You are in my womb also. You can bring back the life of this child. Now, Lord may say, the laws of world are inexhaustible. Death is irreversible. How can we do? Then Uttara says, no. For all, but for you, you are Natha, the master of death. You can do it. Now, the request for personal salvation, even when addressed only to Krishna, may seem like a departure for it is not like looking like ideal pure devotional. Anya Abhilashata Shunyam. You should be free from all desires. Now here, Uttara is saying, I do not ask that you save me. This is the point. Uttara is not asking to save herself. From the beginning, she says, let me die. But the child in my womb, large descent of Pandavas must remain alive. Otherwise, people will reproach you that the lineage of your friends were destroyed in front of your eyes and you could not do anything. Now, when Krishna heard that request, now Krishna has to fulfill that. Now, this is how Krishna comes to rescue. Now, Krishna also protected Pandavas. When Brahmastra came, released on all Pandavas. So, Ashwatthama releases 6 Brahmastras, 1 main on the womb of Uttara and 5 more. And then Prabhupada writes, Pandavas didn't have sufficient time. Arjuna could have destroyed, but at a time 5 Brahmastras may not be possible for Arjuna. That's why Krishna takes his Sudarshan. Sudarshan. Su means very pleasing darshan. So Krishna is always with the Sudarshan. He protects Pandavas. So now Pandavas did not ask, but Krishna himself came to protect. And Mare Krishna Rakeke, Rake Krishna Mareke. Whom Krishna can protect, no one can kill. And whom Krishna want to kill, no one can protect. So this is the... Now the Lord will protect us if you turn to no one else for protection. We have to trust him. So this we will discuss. What is from faith to trust on Krishna? We will try to discuss this point. So even if things don't happen in your life the way we want, we have to understand that this is also manifestation of Krishna's protection. Because in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling, Ponte pratijanehi name bhakta pranashyati. Now, there are two, first point we'll discuss is chastity that gives fearlessness. When we are very chaste to Krishna, we become fearless. Now there is, when Kunti Maharani or any great devotees, they are praying, they have love, gratitude and awe. All three are there in them. And now one important point, this is not my realization, I am just repeating it. Don't think this is my realization, but this is a very important point. Please try to understand. This is I'll try to explain whatever I understand from this, but this is, I have heard, so I am just repeating it. And we are usually hindered from praying to God by our chattering of our mind. Mind is always chattering. This has happened to me also. I'm also not able to pray because of this. What happens is, prayer, now at the present situation, prayer is born out of the thick of such a material mind, is like bubbles of a stinking gas rising from a bottom of a swamp. Like from a swamp, some gases are coming. Our mind is so much chattered with all these things. The prayer is not coming from the heart, because the true prayer can be born only from a stillness born of mind. I was telling because a still mind, when he is experiencing that surrender, that humility, he will be able to offer prayer very nicely. That's why Tata Paramahamsana Muninam Amalatmana. Kunti Maharaj is telling three people. Paramahamsa. Hamsa means fan. Paramahamsa means who can take only the essence, not disturb. Muninam means who are saintly, who are calm, peaceful. Amalatmanam. Amala means pure Atma, the pure souls. So they can offer prayers. That's what it is explained here. Now we may say that any tragedy that comes in our life, there is a point of silence in which we can feel the presence of God. And it is said that in Christian Christian religion also, in Orthodox religion also, there is a practice called Haisism, in which they constantly repeat in the mind the prayer of Jesus. Like we repeat Hare Krishna, they also have this prayer. And this is very important. And Haisism means the meaning is silence. So there should be silence within. Mind is always disturbing. How it happens? What happens is, our false ego is always demanding. How this happens, I will tell. Like say when we see an object, when the object is seen, we have three levels. One is Chitta, Manas, Ahankara and Buddhi. Chitta is the repository of all information. I'm just telling you one aspect of it. It is a repository of all information. Say now I see a mobile. I am going in a roadside. I am seeing in the what do you call, the shop. The glass is there, and I am seeing some white object. Then immediately that image from my eyes goes to Chitta. Immediately it processes it. The files are very nicely arranged in my Chitta. Immediately it goes through all the files and says, yes, this is cake or pizza, burger, whatever. And then as soon as Chitta is very neutral, it only gives the information, what it is. Then the information goes to mind. Manas, not Manas, it goes to Manas. Manas immediately says, wow, cake, it's so nice. Or if he sees a Mercedes car, Manas says, oh, it's cool to have Mercedes car. As Manas is always plus or minus, is binary. Plus, minus, plus, minus. It always says, I want, I don't want. I want, I like, I don't like. I like. As soon as Manas says, I like, Ahankara says, I want. So there the problem starts. All the desires they are manifesting. I want this. And some things, if he says, no, it's bad, Ahankar says, no, I don't want. I don't want to see this fellow. Manas says, he's enemy. Ahankar says, I don't want. So this chattering always happens. I like, I don't like. I like, I don't like. Because of which prayers don't come. Ahankara and Manas are always stopping this. This chattering is going on. That is the sinful mentality. Sinful mentality is what? When we have this difference, I like, I don't like, I like, don't like, we are always in a sinful mentality. That's why we are caught up in this world. Now, instead of saying I like, I don't like, what we should say? Whatever is favorable to Krishna, I will accept. Whatever is unfavorable to Krishna, I will reject. whatever is right, I will do it. Not I like, I don't like. That is the next mindset, to make our mind calm. Now, right now, our consciousness entirely focus on events and things of this world. What is the news? What is coming? Which constantly excite our mind, bring experiences, happiness and sorrow. This is what is happening for us. Now, these storms on the surface of the mother of our mind takes our life. Whole life goes with all the storms. Suddenly, some news comes. This happened, and now we are very eager to search on the net. What is the news? What is happening? And everything there is a breaking news, especially in India. There is always breaking news. You know how much they will break. And it is breaking our mind and consciousness more. And then another important thing is we are afraid of silence also and solitude, because we fear emptiness and nothingness. And but all the scriptures of the world, they are telling that there is a voice of God, and we can find only in the unperturbed depths of our heart, beyond happiness and sorrow. We need to go. That's why, Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha Mammaya Mamusha. And also said, Vita Raga and Bhaya. So we have to give Raga, Bhaya and Krodha. These all these dualities. And Krishna gives the second chapter all the Sthita Prajna, very, very applicable. All Sthita Prajna shlokas, Adveshta Sarvabhutana Maitra Karunayavacha. All these shlokas which are telling about the Sthita Prajna, that is how when a person prays, he comes to that stage. Now, it's okay for all of you? Am I relevant? Just any suggestions? You're okay with whatever is?
Yes, Prabhu.
Very nice.
Thank you so much.
Please continue more.
Okay. I just wanted to know, because I cannot see the audience now, so I just wanted to confirm whether I am making some relevance. Now, there is, I want to share a few more important themes, which is very helpful. Now, when it comes to, now there is one more important point that why, what do you call, yeah, so faith turns into trust. So this is a very important aspect I want to discuss. Now, knowledge of God and his omnipotence alone is not enough for love for him. Knowledge of God can turn into love or into fear. I gave the example. When Duryodhana saw, it is fear. Dhritarashtra saw, it is fear. But when it came to Arjuna, it is our love. So both saw universal form. This is a quality. When Mother Yashoda saw Krishna also showed everything. What happened when Krishna was, the friends of Krishna, they complained to Mother Yashoda. He ate mud. Now, just to distract her, Mother said, open your mouth. Just to distract her, he showed whole universe. He showed whole earth. He said, what do you think of just mud? I have whole earth only in my mouth. And Mother Yashoda saw, this is maybe some illusion, something. It did not destroy her, that love she had for Krishna. Same thing with Arjuna. Arjuna's love did not change for Krishna. Whereas for Duryodhana, it happened. The quality, it is very important, because the trust is there. That's why it turned into love. So the heart which is humble, it turns into trust and love. If we are arrogant, if there is no gratitude, there is pride, then it is only fear. Now, the same quality here we are seeing. But Sudha Goswami also tells in the 8th chapter of Kunti prayers only, Sudha Goswami says that Uttara, she runs straight to Krishna. She bypassed her father-in-laws, all Arjuna, Bhima, so no, direct Krishna. And Kunti also, she is called as chaste, very chaste lady. Why? Because she is taking shelter of Krishna. That's why she is chaste. And Pandavas also, they are called Ananya Vismitam, very chaste. Devotees are very chaste because no matter whatever trouble, they will never go to anyone. Like the story of Ambarish Maharaj, when he was doing tapasya, meditation once, the Lord wanted to test. He appears as Indra and Garuda he brings as Airavata. And then he says, "Oh, my dear devotee, what do you want from me?" Then Ambarish Maharaj, "Who are you? Get lost from here. And what is this insect you brought? Take it away from here." Then Lord appears. Say, "No, no, no, I only came." Then somebody says, "Oh, my dear Lord, it's you. Okay, from you I'll take anything. But from that person, I don't want anything." So they are very chaste. Even somebody want to give. For us, we don't know. At least for me, I can not guarantee. If Indra comes and asks something, what do you want? I will think twice before I say, "No, I don't want to take anything from you." I may say, "We can give one temple for ISKCON, some land here, something." I may use, but but not sure. I cannot guarantee. So now this is the no matter what happens, the Lord is also ready to protect them in that way. And this is the transcendental nature of Lord. His devotees, they respond to his trust. They know that Lord is going to protect me in all cases. One should not turn to imperfect living beings or demigods for help. It's Lord Krishna only, and who is able to save his devotees because he promised, Name Bhakta Pranashati. And such devotees will never ask Lord for help, but Lord himself will always give protection. They know it. And this is why the faith combined with humility turns into trust in Krishna. Faith with humility is equal to trust. We will see how much we have. Even Lord Rama promises, right? Sakrit eva prapanno yasmin. Sakrit eva prapanno yasya tavasmi yachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadami etad vatam. Even Lord Ram says, okay, whoever even once say, I belong to you, I'll protect him. Now, if we still have fear in our heart, it means that our faith in God has not turned into trust. That is the point. If we have fear, we have faith in Lord. We all have faith in Krishna. It is for sure. But still, if you have fear, means that faith did not turn into trust. For that, what is the addition we need? Humility. Therefore, we still are long way from true humility. There is humility, but true humility plus faith is equal to trust. And now this is one of the, from all the Bhagavatam prayers, starting from Kunti, we'll see this, that they teach us step by step with humility and gratitude, and how they have complete trust on Krishna, especially Kunti Maharani, how she has complete trust on Krishna, and how they are very chaste to Krishna. And our faith is transformed. That's a Mamcho Avyabhichari Bhakti. No Vyabhichari, no impurity. And fear is completely low. And now this is a very important point. The unwritten rule in human relation is that if you need something from some person, we have to first request in a right way. Now, first of all, we should ask. We cannot directly call and say, "Can you give me some loan of $1 million?" No, if you want a big person, first what we should do? We should talk to him. How are you? How is everything going on? And then only after some time you'll make a request. Now, similarly, when we study the prayers of Bhagavatam also, we see here now they are putting the request. But when they are putting the request, anytime, any prayers you see, Kunti Maharani, she also puts the request in the last. Her request is, no, that how my consciousness should be always turned to you. That is her request. But before that, she is offering prayers. In the end, they put request. And Brahmaji or demigods, every time you have demigods coming, they offer some prayers. At the end, they put request. But before offering, first they glorify him. They say some things about him. What they should say, this is very important. We notice this very important understanding. Prayer is always a request, but not every request is accepted. What does it take for a person? If somebody is requesting us, how will we respond? Means when I will give him what he wanted. That is, first of all, we need to feel that that person is understanding me. He comes to me and asks, Roji, he want to ask me, can you give me something? But before that, if I feel that this person understands me, and if he does not understand me, does not know what motivates me for my actions, does not appreciate what I am doing for, and no matter how much he praises, it will not touch me. I may not respond. But if he exactly tells, if I feel that he's understanding me, similarly it happens with Krishna also. They try to understand what he is, appreciate him for his, they try to understand. So if we feel that that he's on the same page, we open our heart and are willing to do anything for him. Now, same thing happened with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. In the Rath Yatra time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was repeating one song, verse from Kavya Prakash, which is some old, mundane, worldly poetic song. Then what happens is, nobody could understand, but Rupa Goswami understood and he made it public. He wrote a alternative verse for it. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he becomes so happy. He slaps him first. And then Krishna's Karan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so pleased and he showed so much blessings on him. Why? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt that I am being understood. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also felt that, so every person wants to be understood. And this is the real intimacy begins, intimacy of heart. Without that, there can be no real relationship, either with Krishna or even with wife, husband, children, anything. And then this is actually how much a person sometimes, even though he's staying with the closest of the people, they can inflict the maximum pain because they feel so much lonely when they are not understood. They may live in the same apartments, but sometimes they feel so much distance, loneliness. And sometimes they think, oh, they're not able to understand me, but they don't ask this question. Maybe it's because I also don't make enough effort to understand them, trying to understand what others are feeling and what, because this is a daily sadhana, part of daily work or sadhana to make other person understand. And it is necessary to make a daily contribution to the relationship, to hold it dear and trying to understand the movements of other person's heart and thoughts. Without this relationship, it's out of question. Physical intimacy is not actually never a substitute for understanding. Anyway, this is not the main point. This is just a side point I mentioned. But the point is with Krishna, we need to feel Krishna that we understand you. Of course, we cannot understand, but Kunti Maharani says, okay, this is how I am understanding you. And she offers the praise. No, Namaste Purusham Tvadyam Ishwaram Prakrite Param Laksham Sarvabhutanam Antarbhairavasthitam. And Krishna immediately raises, Namaste, you are offering me prayers. I am supposed to be younger than you. How can in a Vedic culture, a elder person offer prayers to a younger person? But she justifies her reasons also. Now, because of the attachment to matter, the soul becomes weak. This is what is happening. Now, people say that why there is a discrimination? Why there are some statements that are made in the scriptures that women are less intelligent? Now, it is not the class, it is actually the mentality. What is that mentality that is considered a weakness? I will try to explain. See, the attachment to matter, the soul becomes weak. Because of weakness, because weakness is nothing other than attachment to pleasure. What is this weakness? Attachment to pleasure, indulging in one's desires, and the feminine mentality. It may not be women, it may be women or men with that mentality. Presently in Kali Yuga, all are like that only. So it is not, in Vedic culture, there was some distinction. When Prabhupada came to India after 1971, then his what do you say, God brothers, they criticized. Why did Prabhupada give initiation, Brahman initiation to women? And then Prabhupada said, they don't know anything. There are no women only in the West. He said they never went there. They don't know. So what does Prabhupada mean? That for Kali Yuga, Kalo Shudra Sambhava. Everybody has this weakness of mind. There is a great attachment to pleasure and indulgence in all these sensuous desires. And this mentality is totally opposite to what that is Paramahamsas, Munis and Amalatmanas. Those hearts are filled with material desires and passion. This is for everyone. It is not that class. Therefore, now Kunti Maharani, when he is speaking, now Katam Pashyema hi striyaha, how can women? She is not referring, she is referring to weak and pampered people of Kali Yuga, all of us. Of course, some of you exception, but in general I am telling. And they are shamefully attached to the material pleasures. Now, this is the problem for all of us for praying. Why prayer don't come? Because there is chattering in the mind. Because of what is this chattering? All these weaknesses, material attachments. Now, what is the hope for us? Hope is mercy of Krishna only. And his mercy, that is actually will help us to come out of this state. And purity of heart is certainly necessary to enter into the realm of God. But now, Prabhupada gives one. It is, but hearts are not pure because we all woke up watching TV. How can you explain that? Therefore, Srila Prabhupada says, real purity is not the absence of desires, but the humility in the heart. That is the purity needed. Not that we don't have material desires. We need to have humility. Humility can give unshakable faith in Krishna's mercy and enable one to practice bhakti and purify one's heart. That's how it is. And all these things, that is what 11th canto Bhagavatam says. Jata Shruddho Matkatasu Nirbinno Sarvadharmashu Veda Dukhatmakam Pam Parityagya Panishwaraha Tato Bhajeta Mam Prita Shraddhalo Dhrunanishya Yushamakcha Kaman Dukho Darshkamsha Gharhen. So that you may have some material desires, but that does not make difference. You can happily practice bhakti. So now Kunti Maharani, he gives many reasons how we are not able to offer prayers and how to open our heart. Now one last point we will discuss is Kunti Maharani is saying, let me get more problems. So we'll just try to discuss that one aspect before we end. And then other avatars and relationship, there are many other points, but I'll just tell one point. How Kunti Maharani, she is telling, let there be problems. I will try to answer that one question. What does that mean that Vipada Santuta Shashwat? Here Prabhupada is telling devotees don't ask, but now there are many other things, but this Vipada, how to understand this one prayer, this last point I learned. Now it seems that it is contradicting common sense. What is this? Already so many sufficient problems are there. Why can somebody ask problems? And now even sincerely thinking, we want to get rid of it. Now what Kunti Maharani is sharing, Kunti Devi is sharing in her prayers, her experience of happiness. For us, it is so difficult to understand her because we don't have such experience. What is her experience of happiness and our experience of happiness? Now, we all have the same goal. We want to find happiness and get rid of suffering. That is a common for everyone. And ideally, this happiness should be eternal happiness. But what is happening is, our experience of happiness is on a material realm. Now, this understanding, it is based on faith. That means what? We only need faith to bring the experience of happiness. We all have material experience of happiness, which is temporary and good. It is not eternal and it is covered. But what happiness Kunti Maharani is talking, is the happiness of eternal happiness. Now, all the scriptures are telling, no, this is raso vaisaha rasam evam ladhvanam bhavati. Now, Kunti Maharani says the difficulties and dangers sent by you is teaching me to hear. Yeah, the difficulties, the dangers sent by you, for teacher of the world, has become my greatest wealth, for they help me get rid of illusion regarding material happiness. So why she want to get rid of the illusion of material happiness and strive only for you without distraction to anything else. Because she's experiencing spiritual happiness, she's telling this material happiness, even if this problem or no problem, this is all material, does not make a difference for me. I need spiritual happiness. So this is a small thing I wanted to share with all of you. If anybody has any questions or comment, if you have time, we can take. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for such a beautiful class, Prabhuji, definitely. And looking through the pages of Bhagavatam and seeing from different examples, Ambarish Maharaj's example, and how Uttara, she directly went to Lord Krishna to pray for protection for not herself, but her child. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Such a wonderful class. I request Jyoti Takne Mataji, please go ahead with your question.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji. Prabhuji, you mentioned about the trust and faith part, right? The trust is very fickling. I mean, it can break very easily. The faith is like, faith is experience based. So how you say that the trust is at a higher level than the faith? Means, I couldn't understand that part. Could you please teach me on that part?
Faith is like now when there is at a normal level, I have faith. Okay, this person is good. This family is good. Some of your friends, you have faith on them. They are good people. Now, trust means like say you have to give the most valuable thing of your valuable time or some valuable goods to save or some very important secret which you have in your heart you want to reveal. You cannot do it. You know that person is good. You have faith that this person is good. But when you trust that person, then you can share some things. Otherwise, you cannot share because you may feel if I share, he may say to somebody else. So that is what is trust. Whom you can share, whom you trust, you share. You have faith. There are so many good people. You go to temple, you know these are all good people, and you have faith they are good people. But you cannot trust in such a way that you open your heart. So in that way, trust means whom you can reveal everything, and you know the heart is not broken like that. So this is another level. So and especially with Krishna, little more we need to be humble to develop that faith on Krishna, that Krishna is not going, he is going to save me in all situations, and whatever Krishna is giving is good only for me. I need not bother about anything.
I have noted down. I'll try to understand your answer. Prabhuji, I have one more question. You said that the Lord, when we connect to the Lord and when we ask, then Lord will start from breaking the false ego first. So he tests on that part first. But in bhakti, when we start the bhakti, we see that the senses, we work on senses, then we gradually reach to the ego part, right? Means it is not easy. I'm just asking the stage. So why Lord is not testing on the senses part and he is directly testing on the false ego? Because when he will test, we are not purified at that point, right? Nor the false ego is that one devotee could understand, okay, the Lord will test my false ego. He cannot understand that because he is on the purification in the process. So he might be working on senses, or he might be working on intelligence part, or whatever is the stage in. So could you please explain on that, why Lord chooses the false ego, which is in the reverse order of purification?
Of course, he is testing in all parts, but bhakti, na, it actually starts at the level of ego only. Like when you come to yoga process, dhyana yoga and all, it is working on mind. And when it comes to jnana, it is working at the level of buddhi. Bhakti is directly at ego. That's why it is very powerful. Because it's very close to chitta. What happens is we first the underlining premises is I am servant. That is the reason it is working on at the level of ego. When you go for book distribution, what hurts so much is our ego only. When you go and ask somebody take books, and if he does not take, and what is hurting us is, array, such an important thing, why is not taking? But here it is some pain is there at heart. If he takes, we become very blissful. That is a different thing, but it hurts. And all the time we knew when you are sitting and hearing, we need to be humble to sit and hear. Why this person has to speak and I have to hear? We need to be humble. All the situations, we have to know, okay, I am servant. Hare Krishna Mahamantra is, no, my dear Radha and Krishna, I want to engage in your service. This is all with the, of course, Krishna is going to test in all levels, but we have to work with our ego. And Krishna helps to make us understand I am servant, I am not the boss, I am das. And that's what happens. And Krishna is not that he's testing only with ego, he will test in all levels, but we have to work on our ego. And if we are sincere, Krishna will immediately show where we are, what is our position. Any situation that is coming in our life is the reflection of my consciousness. Krishna is showing in front of me, this is where you are, this is where your attachments are. See, our attachments is our false ego, our post position is our false egos, and any of our activities which we are doing, it's all because of motivations are false egos. So we need to work on them. When we are chanting, we are attacking our ego. When we are rendering service to other devotees, Vaishnavas, we are trying to work on our ego only. Book distribution, nicely purification of ego. So it's like that. So when that one part is gone, okay, I'm servant, then we are in the spiritual world. So it's like that.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I have noted down this part also. And one more thing is, you said that the person who has the pure consciousness can pray, but people pray like I have seen people just stop while if they're just passing by, they will stop the bike and they will just wave the hand towards the Lord, as if I don't know what that is, but yeah. So that is also like they have something to ask, right? So how we look that particular thing? I mean, the consciousness is not pure because they are not devotees. So how your statement I can understand in relative, I mean in practical terms?
This prayer and that prayer, so much difference is there, Mataji. That prayers are for material things. They are not real. They are just to get rid of some material pain and to get some material comforts, like what the demigods are praying. This is not a pure prayer from the soul. That will not happen. There is a prayer. Even if you go to many places, many people, they go to temples and pray to demigods, but that is not real prayer. It is not coming from the pure heart. It is coming from all material desires. They want to fulfill their material desires, that's why they are praying. That is not the prayer what we are discussing. We are discussing of a prayer from a pure soul where they want really Krishna. You don't want anything other than that. They want to get rid of this complete material existence. That's what I was telling you in the beginning. Other processes, somebody may want to get rid of, but they can get rid of fear, but loneliness will not happen only by bhakti. The prayer in bhakti is completely different. It is from the soul, it is from a pure heart. That is the difference. That prayers are all demigod prayers, which we are seeing. Kill with Rasur, give
Okay, but here
punish
also
Bali
we
and
are
all.
asking Lord, no? We are asking Lord to give strength for the bhakti, or we are asking for some purification or showing the path where we are going wrong and please help me. We are always asking that also, right? So means
That we
I
are
was
asking to go to Krishna only.
there.
See, there is a difference in the prayer. Anything I am praying, I want good health, Krishna, so that I can chant. I want to get rid of this financial problem, Krishna, so that I will serve you. Our prayers are anukul for bhakti. It is to go towards Krishna. not to go into material realm, not to go towards all this material illusion. We want to go more towards Krishna. Our prayers are in that way. If we are anything anukul for Krishna, it is not wrong. Anukul is a sankalpo. My prayers, if my parents and my family members become devotee, it is favorable for me. That's why I can pray for them to become devotee. It is not wrong prayer. It is anukul for bhakti. That is right prayer.
Okay, Prabhuji. And you are in Hyderabad. Is there your group? My very good and childhood friend is staying there. And
I will just send my number in the chat. You can you can
can
connect.
you connect her to any Mataji there, and then she can have the association and come into bhakti, or she can listen to you. I'm requesting.
Yeah. So I have sent my number on chat. So you can send the number and all. We will connect to some nearby places where their satsang is happening.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam to you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Krishnadas Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So
Hare
wonderful, Prabhu. You're given some very enlightening point. See, a lot of my Zoom devotees, they are actually in Bombay, in Delhi, in various places, and they are doing bush distribution. There are some are brahmachari, some are, grastas. But they say that, see, they go to preach, but say they find some young girls and all, and they get allured. They know that as per the scripture, they are not supposed to. They talk and they get stuck up. But today you told, by real humility, their heart can change, can give me the correct way. The humility can purify the heart, no? Their allurement or illusion, or they talk and they get stuck up. You understand that they are they know they are doing wrong, but they're doing wrong. So you said that by real humility, the change of heart can take place and you will never do that mistake. Can you just elaborate on that? But this is the biggest problem the devotee side, those who are doing. They don't do no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, but illicit sex, not really going and sleeping with somebody, but somewhere something going wrong, and they just say that, yes, Prabhu, something happened, I don't know what. So you gave a very good answer that if somebody in humility, they can come down. That I want a proper way that so that it can help the whole of the devotees. Please. I got your number.
In this case, Prabhu, in this case, if they want to understand, it is not just, it is, there is one more way, it is very important way, Prabhu. That is what, they have to come to a level of buddhi. They should awaken their jnana part. That is very important. That means they have to read the scriptures, understand them on their own. They have to awaken their consciousness. Once you awaken, once you come to, there is a different levels. You are manomaya, annamaya, pranamaya, manomaya, vijnanamaya stage is there. This is a stage where you will be able to control the senses very nicely. What happens is, now I am experiencing some pleasure. Now, if I know that it does not suit for me, I should be conscious about it. Then only I can get rid of it. Without being conscious, we cannot get rid of that problems which we are facing. Especially this type of problems, we need to be conscious about the problem. First is, we need to identify the problem. Unless we are conscious, we cannot identify the problem. Even if they are saying that I want to get rid of it, but really speaking, they are not having that consciousness. They really want to come out. It's not a big difficulty, but only thing is they have to awaken. For that, they need to work on hearing so much. If they hear regularly 5-6 hours, hear and read, very soon they come to the Vijnanamaya stage. That is the level they will be able to control very easily. The process is easy, but they have to work in the level of Vijnanamaya. They have to come to that stage, especially who want to practice in working on controlling their senses very strictly. It is for everyone. We see, bro, there is institutional bhakti, there is constitutional bhakti. Institutional bhakti is 16 rounds, and no, you have to come for morning program, you have to follow this rule. That is institutional bhakti. But there is something called constitutional bhakti, where I have awakened. Even though people do it or not do, but I know whole life I am going to do it. That means I have awakened myself. That is how we have to stand on our own leg in practice. Of course, I need support of devotees, but I had to stand on my leg. I had to start doing constitutional bhakti. The standards are, I had to set myself, no, this I am going to do whole life. I have convinced myself. That's why Shastra Yukti is needed. They need to learn Shastras very nice.
So they are actually Bhakti Shastri done, Bhakti Vaibhav done. They are not, they are very senior devotees. They are in the
Bro, Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav is not Shastra.
I know, correct.
That is not the criteria, bro.
And they're preaching for us 30
the
years.
criteria is you have to awaken.
The consciousness is still not bad, not good. I mean, they want to also enjoy. They're just telling, I got abstract, but they also have the desire to enjoy. That is the reason that they are not. So this Annamaya, Manomaya, and Vigyamaya, where is the real, where is it written there? All those in detail. Annamaya, Manomaya, and Vigyamaya.
Prabhupada only mentions one, bro, detailed where, but basically this is the stage where we can, if somebody wanted to, for all of us, we have to come to this stage where we are awakened on our own. I want to come out of it. Now I have to take my own responsibility. Then only it is possible to come out of any problems. For that, I have to read myself and understand Shastra on my own. It is not that I have certificate of Bhakti Shastri Bhakti Vaibhav. I have to sit myself, understand, analyze the Shastras with the logic. Then that my awakening happens. Then I say, yes, I really want to do it. Once that awakening comes, you are out of it. Then you will pray nicely, you will practice more sincerely. This awakening don't happen. You are forcefully kept in a system, and by force I am following. It will not happen for long. After some time in this remote, then again you will fall down. But when I awaken, this is what they need to read Shastra and hear nicely. Then it's a
is it Manasiksha or something? Manasiksha or something where it can be in detail.
Yeah, Manasiksha is very good book. Yeah, Manasiksha is the best book. They read the lectures of Balram Shakti Prabhu, they have to hear all the lectures. If they sincerely hear, that's enough. I'll guarantee. It will help them so much.
So please, I will be in touch with you to get all those, because there are people struggling. They're doing well, but not doing well. They're doing well outside, they're putting tilaka and coming and all, but they are telling we are really doing wrong. So as you said, the Manasiksha and that Annamaya, Vigyamaya, they have to really go and
Manasiksha is very good book, bro. That is, the one book is sufficient if they really sincerely understand and read.
Bhakti Vinod Thakur, no? Manasiksha, who has written it?
Commentary by Bhakti Vinod Thakur, but written by Raghunath Das Goswami. And we have Urmila Mataji's book, whole big book. That is good.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you. Megha.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada and Srila and Shivaranga. Wonderful class, Prabhu. I have two questions. One is about when you say, everyone wants to be understood. So without this understanding, there's no relationship. So we need to understand even Krishna. But in general terms, understanding can be different for, it's very subjective, right? Because it's not like if I want to be understood, that understanding from someone else thinking that they understand me could be different. So how do we really, what is the real meaning of understanding? And then second question, I can wait until afterwards.
Yeah, we'll take one at a time.
Yes.
Here, understanding means what, Mataji? We need to accept the person the way he is. Don't try to change. I need to accept the way he is. Because our sanskaras are so deep, our vasanas are so deep, they cannot be changed. If I am able to accept, say, if I know that this person is little irritable for certain things, he is not very serious at certain things, he is very serious for some things. If I'm able to accept what he is, that itself is understanding. I generally, for what I did mistakes also many times, also doing. What I try to do is when it comes to my mother and father or anybody, I try to change them. He says, why you are not doing this? Why you are not doing this? And slowly I'm understanding. No, I need to accept what they are. Then I will be able to help them in a much better way. What happens is they feel very confident and very comfortable with me Otherwise, when my phone call comes, they'll say, this fellow is going to eat my head.
Start, yeah.
But no, when his call comes, they know that, okay, he's understanding what I'm going through. He knows that I want to change, but I have limitations. I cannot do more than this. Just by accepting the person what he is, we will do so much benefit for him and for ourselves also. We will not be in stress that this person is not listening to me, and will not keep that person in stress that he's not listening to me. Both of us will be happy and we can help each other nicely. So understanding means accepting. That's what I.
Yeah, okay. And even if they so let's say, you know, they say they want something, right? And then we're trying to guide something, and we see that clearly the endeavor is not happening, or maybe you know, so how at that point, you know, if we're trying to help someone, how do we, you know, show them that we understand, and not at the same time, you know, degrade them or think like, you know, you're not endeavoring or something, like, you know, we don't want to say it in that way. How do we do that?
If we want to help, first thing is that person should have trust on us. They should feel that we have understood his situation properly. Like, no, I did this mistake many times. Suddenly some phone call comes. I had one case. This girl, she had some, his friend called and so this girl, she had some issues and she wanted to commit suicide or something. She attempted, whatever happened. Immediately I called. I said, this fellow is cheating you. Why are you so much bothered? You know, go on with your life. That was the last call. Then she, because what I did, I tried immediately giving a solution for her.
Yeah.
She didn't want it. 90% of the problem. Immediately I went for a solution, and this I did 2 times. Then I understood, no, don't go for solution. Just hear what they want. And then once they develop faith on you, this 2 times I did. 2 were marriage cases, and that was the last call. So then I understood, no, you just hear what they want to tell. Once you hear, and after that onwards, any call comes, I first hear what exactly they want to tell, what exactly they are going through. Even you don't give any solution, just by hearing, understanding is 50% solution, because they know the solution. Not that people, when they are calling, they don't know solution. Many of them, they know solutions, but they need that confidence to apply it. And if somebody hears from them, they are able to apply the solution. And it happened to me also. When I went through some problem, when I just told my friend, he said, no problem. He just told no problem. And he knows I know the solution. But for me to apply the solution became easy because I know somebody is understanding. That's all.
Yeah. Very, very, very important. Thank you so much. That's really helpful. My other question is, you know, how to imbibe humility besides, you know, I mean, I know you kind of answered, like, you know, by knowledge, by reading Shastras, by hearing, and we need to understand that and knowing that we're servant of the Lord. But even despite all this, you know, how to imbibe, and we serve Vaishnavas, because, you know, our false ego is very deeply rooted. So to get rid of this, we try to do all these things to get rid of it. But what is, you know, when do we know that there's real humility, or how do we know that we're even on the right path of the humility?
This is, you're asking a right question, wrong person, but I still tell answer for it because I know the answer. I'm not applying, so I have to give the how we develop, Mataji, is when we are conscious. When we become conscious, we become grateful. We understand, Arey, I am able to practice bhakti, which is not available for so many people. How much grateful I should be. What all Krishna is giving me. How much Krishna is doing for me. When we develop gratitude, slowly, when we become conscious, we become grateful, and then we develop humility. So without being conscious, and without being grateful, we cannot come to that level of humility.
Very nice, very deep and profound. Grateful. We need to understand that we're grateful, and we can get to gratefulness by being conscious. By consciousness,
being conscious, we can be grateful.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you for wonderful class. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, we have one question in the chat box. Thank you very much, Madhu. I hope I'm a little fast in answering. I'm not very softly answering, but I'm very. We have one question in the chat box. When the mind keeps chattering and the pillars of false ego prevent us from becoming humble, how does a conditioned soul like me get the impetus to offer prayers and also become humble even though one is suffering. It is, I was giving answer to our Krishnadas Prabhu that we have to awaken. We have to more and more hear and to come to the stage of awakening our consciousness. Then only it is possible to offer prayers. I am doing some services from long time, and to get prayer really from the heart, unless there is some crisis, it does not happen many of the times. Just goes as some is just some external. And one solution I can give is just read Sharanagati prayers of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Just by reading them with translation, the feeling can awaken in our heart. So that is what I can tell. That is why Narottam Das Thakur's and Bhaktivinoda Thakur's, these prayers are very, very helpful to do it. So
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you for
Thank you, Prabhuji. You made one very good statement. My chanting will definitely improve. That you said that chanting is like attacking our ego directly. It really struck me. I mean, I was never thought that way. So it really helped me. Thank you.
This the important point that helped me in chanting is I am not able to hear Krishna's glories because I want to hear my glories. So whenever I chant, I remember, no, I want to hear Krishna's glories. So let me hear his glories, not my glories. So why the holy name don't enter into our ear is I want to still hear my own glories.
That is true, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mataji. Thank you very much for the opportunity to serve all of you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Please come again, come more often, Prabhuji. You have so many wonderful realizations to share. We'll end the call here by offering prayers to Prabhuji and all the Vaishnavas. Pancha Kalpatarubhya
Namo Namaha.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much.
Gauranga.
Gauranga.